where the dollars will be out, the $10,000 will be allocated. The $10,000 will be allocated in 3 different areas. It will be our special events, our fitness equipment, and our senior and teen equipment. This may be games, this may be mics, it may be whatever the things that would make those team spaces and those senior hubs more efficient and effective for those that are utilizing those spaces. And again, come and join us
Get this online.
at our leadership
It's called
meetings,
Institute 360.
because that's where
It's
we're
called,
going to be talking
well,
specifically about
that's the
those
model.
specific items that we're going to be
It's a cell phone.
And any questions? I know sometimes in these forums it can feel like there's a monologue and the guy with the mic is the one that's responsible for the dialogue. But at any time, if anyone has questions, like please feel free to stop me or to raise your hand. We have another mic, and so we could have someone from our staff bring the mic to you, so you don't have to yell. But I really want you to, I really want you all to be informed. I would hate for someone to leave this space and not feel like there was a question that maybe they had, or that their question wasn't answered, or if nothing else, that their question was not at least given the opportunity to present. And so at any time, if someone feels like, hey, I have a question about your process, or where did the $10,000 come from? There's this swamp. So the swamp, we found some money, and the swamp that we were digging, that's not how it happened. But if anyone has any questions about our process, about the money, about how we came up with that dollar amount, and I wanted to make sure that I'm creating, and not just in this space, but also just through the duration of our time together today. Everybody good? Thumbs up, thumbs down, you can say no. Blink twice if you know, if you need help. Okay, we are in the presence of some really incredible people, and I wanted to take an opportunity, and I'm actually going to have her come up to share a little bit of her story, and I know that it is an incredible privilege to be standing in your son's vision and your labor, and I've heard the stories. I never forget when Hunter George was like, do you know how all of this happened? He's like, she was like clocking the governor and got on the elevator with him and ran up on him and ran in pockets. I'm like, dang, how did she get past security? and that's what it looks like when someone is committed to seeing something through and to seeing a vision materialize. And that's the type of shoulders that we all stand on. And although tragic, I am grateful that we all get to play a small part in your baby boy's story. So thank you for sharing him with us. And I'm going to share quickly about why we're doing this formal reintroduction to space. And sometimes, as government agents, we don't always get it right. So I just will say that. And so this is us coming correct, because a little over a year ago, we decided that we wanted to be intentional about honoring Salisha Hayes' contributions to Park Tacoma, and specifically the East Side Community Center, and the role that she played and her story played in curating what we are now sitting in. And we decided that we were going to honor her with a room dedication. In that process, some things happened, life transitions, things happen. We wanted, and then in re-engaging with Salisha Hayes, we went through a formalized process that now I can say that we have a gift to share with Ms. Salisha. As you are walking throughout the building, it should be like Where's Waldo, but I'll tell you, like the room, so the space that Parks Tacoma has identified as being a priority in our community centers. we knew coming out of the pandemic that our seniors were heavily impacted. We know that our youth were heavily impacted. And so we wanted to prioritize creating a space that serves and prioritizes the needs of our seniors and our youth. And so those seniors and youth that come in this building and come into that hub, they will, for as long as there's Parks Tacoma, will know that space as the Salisha Hayes Group. So can you all join me with giving her a round of applause? And you got to come here and breakfast for me. And then this will also be, do you guys stand here and tell us? We're doing good on time, so you have a few moments. So this will also be placed in an A-frame outside of the space, so people can learn more about her story and her work. And although this may get banged up and we'll have to repurchase time and time, we know that sign is cemented. That's the one that really matters. So, Ms. Shalisa, thank you. Maybe you can share with folks that maybe don't know your story. I know you're good at elevator speeches, so I'm good.
Okay. The elevator speech that won $5 million for this place. That's what we mentioned with the governor. So I'll give you really quickly, in case you've never stopped at the statue up front to read the sign. It describes a little bit about a kid named Billy Rae. Billy Rae lived in this neighborhood. Unfortunately, we lost him to gun violence. Before we lost him, he dreamed of having a community center on the east side. Billy Rae is my son. After his death, I vowed to make his dream come true. And so I started meeting with folks, Andrea and Lisa, and saying, we gotta make this happen. It took us about 5 years of lots of fundraising, and roughly $40 million later, you have what you're standing in. So this space, for me, it was always about my son and the kids who jumped in to support to make this happen as well. Their names are also on the sign upstairs. So I've never asked for any sort of recognition, if you will, because it was about the lives we were saving by putting this place here for kids to gather. So, of course, this space is for families, anyone of any age. It started because a kid dreamed for a place for kids to have a safe place to play. So, I take this with great honor. And like Antonio said, things happen. I'm okay, we're good. And it says a lot to my remaining son, Jamez, who's with us today. He lost his brother keeper, if you will. And so for him to be able to be involved and not only participate in seeing his mom be recognized, but also watch you all get together and talk about what's supposed to happen in this building. This is what's important to me. When we went through the design phase, we asked the community to tell us what they wanted in this building. And so I'm happy to see that those conversations are continuing, because we can build a place and say, here, this is what you need, but it's better if you tell us what we need or what you need. So, thank you. I'll drop it there.
You can't take that sign home with you because it needs to go up on the wall.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm not going to get in trouble this time. I'm getting that email. I honestly believe in these kind of spaces, and when you hear stories of people who are serving community, I truly believe that their character is measured by the work that they're doing in lieu of what they're willing to do in response to their ask. And if you heard Shalisa, she said that she didn't do this work with the intention of receiving anything in response. She didn't ask for this honoring. This came from Parks Tacoma. And I think that's the measurement of culture. So thank you for standing in this work and not asking for anything in return from the community. I think that's the measurement of your character. And so I will goat you with all of the rest of the goats like Michael Jordan. Because he doesn't goat himself. Goats do not goat themselves. Y'all young people in the room, y'all gonna learn that later. But no, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I just want to briefly talk a little bit about our process. and how we got to where we are together today. So our participatory process was really curated from our co-creates. We realized that as we were engaging with community members, there were ideas that was coming forward from feedback, and oftentimes ideas that we didn't want to just make a soft promise, as we wanted to, as my mom would say, we put our money where our mouth is, and that's the kind of expectation that you should hope to see from your government or public agencies, is that you actually see results from the discussions that you're having. And understanding, like I said earlier, the decision fatigue, is we wanted to earmark dollars within our budget, where as we were having these conversations, that it would give space for community to take the ideas to actually materialize. And so that process then took us to where, as Commissioner Smith mentioned, of us engaging community with asking specific questions around their community center experience and improvements in areas in which they believe that if they had this item, or if they had this thing, or man, I wish if we had more 110-pound dumbbells. That was my request. that we can help improve your community center experience. And I talked a little bit about our steering committee, but we had hundreds of votes, and so that helped to really focus and hone in on how we would be spending those dollars. So I do have some quick updates. Any questions so far? Anybody like stop, think about it? Anybody just okay? And if not, I'm just going to keep moving forward, and then in just a few moments, I'm going to have our Parks Tacoma staff come before our bond, our 2020. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, did it ever have CPR classes here at the community center?
Yes, that's a great question. We actually are in the works. Where's Christine?
I'm right there.
Okay. I know that we have historically worked with the fire department that has provided CPR classes throughout all of our community centers, and I know that we are working through a new contractual process where we are formalizing throughout the district. Instead of them just working specifically with community centers, we're formalizing an agreement where they're going to be offering those throughout the district. I know that we offer CPR courses at other community centers on a regular basis. I know at People's Community Center, we have them, I know, Chrissy, you'll know the frequency.
4 days a week.
4 days a week.
Evenings and on the weekends.
Yes,
Both
so-
Sundays and Saturdays.
Yes, and so I would say, I know that we have a note taker, and so like this is really good information, because a part of what helps us to be responsive is when we, like things like pickleball. Anybody love pickleball, playing pickleball here? Got a few pickleball folks, yeah, pickleball Joes in here. And a lot of our programming has been birthed out of community just showing up with a desire and a need. And so I talked about this earlier today in our executive meeting around creating community space that becomes operationalized, that then over time becomes program specialized. And so there's a lot of things that just happen from community members being passionate and then sharing their need and their desire, and then as those needs and desires are presented, then we help to operationalize those needs. So if community says, hey, we need CPR classes, then we work with our community partners, we work with Tacoma Fire, and we say, hey, how can we offer a few classes, CPR classes throughout the year? We may not be able to promise every week, like we have a community partner that does it at People's, but the goal is that we get closer to what the desired outcome is. And then if the need gets so much and it gets immense, but we have hundreds of people, then oftentimes what happens in when we operationalize those, is it allows other programs and other departments to say, this is really a huge need, and how can we take this just from being a center-specific operational, something that you've operationalized, but how can we integrate this into our practices and specific departments? So thank you so much for sharing. That's really good. Any other questions? That was really good. Okay, so I do know that we have our upcoming blood drive that will be on March 13th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. here at the Eastside Community Center. So we look forward to seeing you all. I just gave my blood last month. They were giving $50 gift certificates. So the incentive had nothing to do with it. I mean, I only blink when I'm telling the truth. But it was a fun experience. But we're grateful for our partnership with Bloodworks. Other thing is we have our game nights with our park guide. I know that Jeff's going to be up in just a few moments to talk more about that. And so April 24th, Friday, 4:30 to 7 p.m. at the Eastside Community Center. So please drop in or welcome. More information to come in just a few moments when Jess comes and shares with all of our other folks. They're going to share updates from their department. And then I'm going to save this for when, actually, you want to start us off when okay, so Kaylin from our aquatics team is going to start us off, but I do want to make sure that you all are informed that on April 6th through the 10th, our center will be closed, and the reason and intentionality behind this specific date is we have a strategic partner. They're not here today, but we have a strategic partner that helped us to raise $10 million to create this building. And that's the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club are responsible for our youth development in the building, and they are serving youth year-round, year-long. I mean, and they're about year-round, and there are about 3 times in the year that they are closed. And so we did not want to displace them, and so we are oftentimes only dealing with 3 times in the year where we can close our center and clean walls, and we've had youth that literally our staff heads going through walls and kids breaking lights and things needing to be repaired and pools needing to be taken care of, and so there's a lot of things, a lot of upkeep that comes with managing a huge facility like this, and it oftentimes just requires time. Like the floor, cleaning our gym floors alone, resurfacing those, and the chemicals that they use literally require 72 hours alone. And so I do want to make sure that I'm being sensitive, that I know that there are a lot of folks that really rely on this particular center for their whatever various needs. But I want to remind folks that their center membership gives them access to our other 3 locations. That's our People's Community Center, our Star, and our center in North Point. Rachel, I heard there's some talks, and maybe you have some information about some transportation. I've heard conversations, if not, and maybe when you come up, if you can tell me I'm lying when you come up, correct me on that. I'm open to always being corrected. But I just wanted to make sure that was out there. Any questions on that? Does that kind of make sense?
We're not closed the weekend before or the weekend after.
Yes.
Monday through Friday.
Just Monday through Friday. Questions? Yes.
I have a question that has nothing to do with that. But can you get paper towels, like in the restrooms and stuff, because a lot of times, if there's a little spill or something like that, we can't let it on. So we can let it out.
Yes. Duly noted. If you didn't hear that, the request was for paper towels, additional paper towels to be in the restroom.
But there's no, business.
Yes, that's because they use the new innovation of the air.
Right, now we have to still, because you can't pick it up because there's nobody at the upright steps, which, you know.
We noted.
Paper towel holders.
Yes. Thank you. I feel like it's getting hotter. So, with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to most heated topic. And then for park staff that are providing updates, if we want to do popcorn style, I don't know, whoever, I don't want, just when you notice that, yes, you guys can line up however you all, so I can cut down on transition time. So park staff that are providing updates just want to come in after the next Go for it. Let's give it up for Miss Kaylin.
I am Kaylin, I'm the pool coordinator here. I do have good news, it is no longer tentative. The pool will be open Monday, March 9th. A couple things with that, we will not have swim lessons until April. That was a decision that was made because we didn't know if the part would be put in, and they said it was going to be put in. So no swim lessons till April. If you do take our water exercise or fitness classes, we unfortunately lost Miss Danielle. She is moving to Ireland. So if you want to start teaching water fitness for me, you can apply online. There's going to be a couple days where we might not have an instructor while we get people who apply. This was sort of a new turn of events. Nonetheless, we still have water fitness time scheduled anyway, and we will have workouts provided until we get a more permanent instructor. But yeah, we're good to go for March 9th. The pool will be closed during the week of the east side closure. It will only be open for lifeguarding classes. Unfortunately, that was out of my control, but it's good for the community to be able to do what we need to do for the center as well. So, is there any questions? No? Okay, I'll pass it on to the next person.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, what are you gonna publish a schedule of swim times and stuff?
Yes, the schedule will be published by the end of the week.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alexis. I work with the youth engagement team as a youth engagement specialist, so I work with the teen center. Thank you so much for your contributions. Because of it, we are able to serve anywhere between 20 to 50 kids on a given day. We're open Monday through Friday, so thank you so much for that. We do have an update. We do run seasonal day camps. Every season we do try to shoot for 3 locations. Unfortunately, due to low enrollment at our Wapato camp, we are not able to run it. So if you or someone you know is registered at that camp, they can transfer over to our other day camp, Titlow, that is running. So you can stop me, let me know, or let the front desk know. They can relay that information over to me. We are also hiring for our teen centers as
Not for myself. And, it seems a little light to just have it once a month. Is there any chance we could?
Yeah, the question is if we have opportunities to do more technology assistance programs for seniors. Right now, we don't do it super often because it's led by one of our full-time staff, and as you heard me list off all of those things we're doing, keeping them quite busy with a lot of activities to oversee. I would love to outsource that if there's a volunteer or if you're familiar with any programs that provide that, or just an expert in technology assistance. I would love to bring someone else on that could do that. So, if you know someone or have any connections with that, please let me know. I'd be happy to offer it more if we can get someone who's a little more available to do it. I think I saw your hand.
Yeah, Friday on bingo, snow group, there is maybe a little rumor that they're gonna transfer us to people. Most of the seniors live around this area.
Yeah, I have heard that rumor as well. It's not a confirmed thing, so, yeah, but if there are any changes, we will be sure to communicate and let you guys know, but as of right now, it's just a rumor.
We were told to come here and say we want to stay.
Okay. Got it, thank you, I do appreciate hearing that.
And then also the chairs for the senior room and the snow room with these chairs here are not that comfortable for when we're here for like 4 hours maybe. But they do have the ones with the arms and the nice back, and those are comfy. And we did have some of them, but they like disappeared. Wondering if we could get some more comfy chairs.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely add that to the list. As you guys heard, there is money in the participatory budget towards senior programs, so that's something we can definitely talk about as an option for that. I think there's different logistics we have to figure out with this being, a lot of these being shared spaces and how we set up rooms for different things and where we have storage space, but it's definitely something that we can look into. Thank you.
Just a quick note on that, when we all came over here from Beach Lighthouse, they had the chairs, and I heard that they're still there. And we're asking for them, so maybe we could bring them here. I mean, I have a truck, I'll pick up a few every week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I promise we will look into it more. Like I said, I think there's just some logistics here with making sure that equipment and furniture we have works for all the different users of our spaces. Lulu? Okay, yeah, I will, sorry. You were saying,
Like I said, thank you for the community. But I have to say, it's not big enough. This community is not big enough for those people like us. And those who maybe come every now and then. But I'm sure this East End community has many seniors who are at home by themselves all day long and need and would love to come here and have some fun with us. And we do have fun. We do not have enough space. We do not, I appreciate, what we have, but it's not enough. We have people with wheelchairs, we have people with walkers, and we have tables that are not enough. And chairs that are not enough. We need more space. The chairs that she mentioned. And we need other people in the community to come. They can't come, but they call it up in that room. Anybody else want? Any other seniors there with the already
Thank you, Lulu. I hear you, and I know we've talked about this, and I appreciate you sharing your concern with it. I agree. I would like for there to be space to bring more seniors in so that they can all enjoy the programs and activities. I know. The spaces are too small. Yeah. Yes.
I was wondering if we can have another exercise class for seniors that's a little more vigorous. Sail is good, but something that gets your cardio up more.
Awesome. Well, we have a fitness person here, so hopefully Cameron's taking note and he can address that.
Did you hear the question? We can't hear over here.
Okay, there was a question about another more vigorous exercise class aside from sail.
The question asked before about the chairs, I think the lady.
Oh, they were asking for more like cushion chairs, chairs with arms.
Before that. None of us could hear what it was.
bingo?
No.
The other question was regarding a rumor that snow might be leaving from here to go to Peoples, but that wasn't confirmed.
I said that was a rumor.
That was the one that was right before the company shares. And then the other one before that was increased opportunities for technical.
And I also have a mic, so I will be moving around. Okay.
I hate to piggyback on the question where you might not have enough space for everybody who wants to come, but I work at the Hilltop, and we have plenty of advertisements and flyers for People Center, which is great, but we also have people that, from this part of the community that use TCH, so who would I contact to let them know about events here at this particular location? Is there a particular name I should reach out to?
I oversee our senior programs for the whole district, so I'm happy to connect to share resources about things going on here, as well as any of our community centers.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let Antonio with the mic.
Give him 10,000 steps and my doctor will be proud of me.
I have a good voice, I don't need that. I would like to follow up with what Rudy said. I can walk, okay, I'm very fortunate. But it's unfortunate we have some members in our community who can't. And I've heard this from different people and different coming and going. That there are people who actually come here in their automobile, and because there's no handicap space, we have two maybe that are out here, 2 or 3, I don't know, very small number. And everything else to come to the entrance is uphill or up some steps. They're either coming uphill that way, uphill this way, up some steps. Is it true, or should I, since we're on the rumor thing, I'll start a good rumor. My good friend Cool Hat Lou will be in town on April 5th. Should I have him bring his pipe cutter over and we'll remove these ugly heads where you plug your car in and we'll establish 2 new handicap spots? And then we can move on from that? That's just a little.
Antonio, you want to say
Christy and
something?
I literally had a meeting yesterday about this very topic, where we had proposed to add additional handicap parking. We understand what, like, the same statement that you just made, we have this conversation all the time, and it is very difficult. I even am trying to remind our parks staff that the closest parking spots are for customers, and specifically, those that, have, additional, needs around
mobility.
So one of the things that we talked about yesterday was adding some, because we currently have 4 handicap parking spots or spaces. There is some additional opportunities to add additional spaces. It just is a bigger conversation than Parks Tacoma. Like, we all couldn't just go grab a sign, and is what I was told. Now, maybe Danny might have some more information, but literally yesterday I was told that we can't. Like, our trades team just can't go and grab because there's additional processes because we're a public agency. Again, I may be wrong, I'm just giving you an update of what I was told yesterday. But Chris and I literally yesterday proposed adding new, and we've also even had some other proposals. So we see those same concerns around just the lack of availability for customers, parking close. And so more information to come about that if you, in the next, we're waiting to hear back from Ed, and Corey, who's our trades manager. And so he's gonna be following up with our team, and so then we'll have some talking points at our front desk the next time you come to East Side Community Center. Or if you join our monthly steering committee meeting, you'll get to hear more updates about that particular thing. I literally had that conversation yesterday.
It has been a year since the seniors going in here to the community center, and nothing so far has happened about the park. And I know that there's people that come and they can't find a place to park, so they leave, or they sit in their cars with their car running until the space opens. I've heard of people sitting for more than 30 minutes waiting for a spot to open. They can't do the steps, they can't do the hill. Something needs to be done.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hugo, lead customer service up at the front desk. I did want to add a little bit regarding the spaces. Up at the front desk, we do have a survey that we're currently taking information on. So before everybody leaves, if you have something that you'd like to input, just ask the front desk, and we have it right there, so everyone can just answer a few questions, and then we're going to gather that information and then hand it off to, it was just like a partnership, so.
Hugo, by the way, also is our new lead. Hugo also likes gift cards to Nike and Puma and Hooplas. He walks a lot, or Hooplas.
In relation to the questions you all had about ADA accessibility into the building, I know somebody later is going to talk a little bit about the bond. And I'm wondering, I can't remember off the top of my head if ADA, I know there are a lot of ADA projects in that package, so I was just wondering if specifically this building had, if we know. Yeah, but I'll say more. So there may be hope there, right, with the bond, and like I said, I know that there are a lot of ADA projects in there, so.
I was actually going to have you do the walk around.
Hi, I'm a senior, and I am not always available during the day. And I find that we don't have many activities for in the evening for some of us. And one of them I feel particularly strong about has to do with fitness and the pool. So I also want to be a part of the solution, and I would like to volunteer to be able to be a fitness instructor in that area so that we can meet the needs of those of us who want to be able to use the pool in the evening or any other activities for the seniors. So I guess my question and my comments are twofold. I would like to see more activities for seniors, but I would also like to know how I can become a person who can help to facilitate that, to actually do hands-on, so that I can see those things happening. Because I love this community center, but I have not been able to use it since the end of November. And I feel that I suffer from that. There were many people in our class who just haven't been able to come, and that affects us all. So I'd like to know how I can help to see those things that I'd like to see and some others would like to participate in. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks. So let me just answer the first part about senior programs. So you're right, a lot of our senior programming is during the day. We do try to offer some things here and there. We've got like some cooking workshops on weekends coming up here, East Side specifically. And we have like our big senior resource fairs on a weekend. We really don't have a lot of evening things, but this kind of feedback is exactly what we need to be able to add more of that and know that that's a desire. So I appreciate that, and it's something that we'll work on seeing how we can add some of. As far as the fitness and aquatics, I know that I don't think it's a volunteer opportunity type of thing, so you have to have certain qualifications. However, both Cameron and Kaylin are sitting at that table right behind you. That's fitness and aquatics right there. So I think if you know anyone, any interested instructors, it's probably great to send them their way or just talk to them about how you could help get those things going. So those are your people to talk to for that.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm just going, I know that we have two hands, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to have Rachel, she's available at the end of our presentation to come and grab her, get her card, get information, how you can email her. I do want to be mindful that we still do have a park bond presentation, and so I want to also be respectful of maybe where a lot of folks came.
Well, I'm one of the guilty ones that parked up here, but I have problems on stairs, and I can't get a handicap sign without going through all these appointments, and they make appointments 2 months away, and what I can do is park below and walk on the plants. I don't hurt nothing, I just walk around the plants, because I can't do stairs.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and I will say though, I think from a parks perspective, that our staff, like us as staff, can do a better job of holding the line and that expectation. There's a lot of parks people. There's a lot of park staff that come here and park up close. So shame on us, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. And so that's gonna help to create a better circulation. And when we know, like, and I'm ruthless. I'll like be walking around and see, even if I know a young guy who's coming to use a fitness, I'll encourage him because of the limited amount of space. Just encouraging them to park. And typically, our staff not staff, but typically community members that are coming, they understand the validity of these conversations. So we're in this with you all together, and we want to be partners in this conversation because the parking outside is horrible.
I was just gonna touch on that we do have water fitness in the evenings, on Monday and Wednesday nights. Unfortunately, we're not able to expand that to other nights of the week, because we do have some lessons that are on the other days. We still do have water fitness on Monday, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7. So that is always an option as well.
Thank you, Rachel. Cameron, you got 30 seconds. Okay, yeah. You guys want to come together? Tag team.
You're not ready yet. I'm Jess. I'm one of the park guys here at Parks Tacoma.
Antonia mentioned board game nights. Yes, that's the last Friday of every month at rotating locations. Obviously, the next one here is in April. I also do every third Saturday of the month dog walks because there's not enough programming for people with dogs. Started with this last month, it was just me and my dogs, so whatever. And then obviously the summer's coming up, and that's when we also do other park programming, such as Park Spotlights, which is available to kids, families, and all of that jazz. We do themed things, and then we are collaborating with the 50 Plus to do guided hikes in the summer as well, so we're bringing that back, and a few others that you'll probably see on rotation. Any questions?
When is the dog walk?
Third Saturday of the month at 2 p.m.
Here?
No, so they're at 3 different locations. They're on rotation. The first one was at Titlow. The next one, so that was this last Saturday. The next one is at Alderwood in the Northeast region, and then the other one is at Wright Park. So I'm specifically doing locations that don't have dog parks. So we do have dog parks a lot on the east side. So I won't be doing any of those walks specifically on the east side yet, but I can expand on those later. This is just a trial period right now. Yes.
I'm looking for places to bring my dog.
Places to bring your dog? Yeah.
Programs and stuff.
Yes, so we, like I said, on leash, because that is our policy.
Yeah, they put them on the leash.
Yes.
In the dog park.
Yep, so 2 p.m. Third Saturday, and
Does your dog have to be behaved?
so behavior issues. If there is an issue, we may ask you to maybe seclude from the group. But people are wise. I think they would know if their dog is not well behaved. Hopefully. I've seen some wild stuff at the parks, I'm not gonna lie. Anything else? Okay, you got Mike?
Yes.
Thank you, Jess. Now, can we get up for Jess?
Keep it nice and brief. My name is Cameron Freshwaters. I'm the fitness and wellness specialist at Eastside and Star Center. As far as the fitness schedule goes, it sounds like some people are interested in evening fitness classes. We've had some in the past. We just haven't had necessarily enough people showing up to justify keeping those classes. It sounds like maybe time to re-explore that again. I know one thing our team is working on is a survey to see what the interest is as far as fitness classes go at all the community centers. So that will be coming out hopefully in the next month or so. And that will give you guys sort of a chance to express what you might want to see here. Aside from that, I also assist with fitness camps. We have a yoga camp coming up for spring break. It's going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so April 6th to 8th, from 1:30 to 4:30, and it's going to be at the Point Defiance Pagoda. I think last year was the first year we did it. Kids absolutely loved it, so it's a fun, unique opportunity for them. And then I also assist with putting on the runs and races that Parks Tacoma has. Our next one is going to be the Throwback 5K. Last year was the first year we did it. Great response. A very sort of different run from what we normally do, to where it's not actually chip timed. And yeah, that one is going to be at Wapato on April 11th at 9 a.m. So, yeah.
So you said runs?
Yes.
Walks?
It's run and walks. Yes. Yeah, you don't, by no means do you have to run the whole thing.
Your funds, so for the walks, where do those funds go? Like, for the registrations?
Like for the race itself,
Yeah.
everything goes back to Parks Tacoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Cameron. He's going to be around. I'm going to turn the floor over to Miss Salisha.
Thanks, all right, right on. Hey, good evening. Thank you for sticking around. I'm Elisa O'Hanlon Regala, not to be confused with Elisa Lee, who is on the commission, on the park board with Andrea. I do the long-range planning for the district. And I'm here to talk to you or share with you information about an election that's coming up. What? Yeah, election. End of April, April 28th. And the measure that's going to be on that election date is a bond that will fund improvements throughout the park district. Thank you, Antonio, for setting this up. All right, I'm gonna go like this and start the slideshow from the beginning. There we are, April 28th. Put that date in your brain. Okay, so and hopefully you have this brochure on your table. What that bond would fund, and we'll talk in a minute here about what a bond is. But what we're looking at is a measure that would raise $155 million for over 100 projects in 40 locations across our park system, which includes the community centers, zoos, and it's the most important thing I want to point out is it's no increase in taxes. We'll talk more about that too. But we've spent over a year and with a lot of citizen input putting this package together, and three important priorities rise to the top. What we're talking about is making improvements in every neighborhood. So if you look at the map on the brochure, you can see this is across Tacoma. It's really investing in taking care of the system that we have. We heard that loud and clear from people. Let's take care of what we have. Let's not be overly aggressive in building new things that we can't take care of. And what it does, the reason that we can do this, we can raise this amount of money potentially without raising taxes is because the last bond that the voters approved, that is being paid off, and so that lowers the debt that we owe for that previous bond, and we can add this one on without raising any taxes. Moving forward, okay, so specifically what is a bond? This does not pay for your general day-to-day maintenance, okay? It doesn't pay for your daily operations. What it does pay for is large projects like this community center was paid for out of the last bond that was approved. Usually it takes several years to pay these off. This particular one is going to fund a number of projects, like I noted. One of the things that allows us to do when we have this money is apply for grants. Oftentimes state grants or federal grants require us to put some money in as well. So when we have this money approved, then we can apply for a state grant and say we're bringing $1 million, and that will make us competitive for winning a grant from another funder. Our annual budget that runs all the programs, oops, I'm falling apart, isn't big enough to pay for capital projects, so that's why we propose these bonds. It's like your own household budget. There's a point in time when your car just isn't going to hold together any longer. You can put new tires on it, but it's still not going to work. There may not be the parts for it anymore, so you just have to replace it. That's what bonds do, and that's separate from your household budget that you use to fill your refrigerator with food or keep your lights on. And the tax amount is a percentage of the value of your property. So whether you own or rent, the amount of taxes that's paid is based on what the value of that property is. What this can pay for: new construction, reconstruction and replacement. Again, kind of like that car, you can replace the car. Major additions, remodeling, renovation, rehabilitation, furnitures, fixtures, equipment, improvements, land acquisition. It can pay for a lot of things, but it cannot pay for routine maintenance and repair. Like your car, this bond would not be able to go, and you can't repair a broken item on
on your car, you can't repair a broken spray ground. Day-to-day operating costs, right, doesn't pay for my salary, and it doesn't pay for studies. You actually have to construct something. We can use some of the money to start a study, but that has to finish in the construction of something. So the last bond that I mentioned was approved by the voters in 2014. That was 12 years ago. That was focused on neighborhood parks, a lot of zoo improvements. It was $198 million. It was a bigger package, but again, that's been over 12 years. It leveraged, I was saying, we can use this money to go get other money through grants. So we were able to bring in $44 million. So this amount of money attracted even more money. And it was hundreds of capital projects across the community. You can find details of all the projects that were completed, still are being completed with that money. And here's a list of some of those highlights. Look, right up here, Eastside Community Center was funded with that bond. That last bond did focus a lot on regional attractions, things like the aquarium, Northwest Trek, Point Defiance, Swan Creek Park. This is just a sampling of some of the things that bond allowed us to build. One of the things that it's allowing us to build is starting this month, the trailhead that's right out here to access the pipeline trail. That was partially funded by that 2014 bond. It also allowed us to get a state grant, RCO stands for Recreation Conservation Office, and attract some money from the Trust for Public Land, who's a great partner of ours. So when we have this bond money, we can attract others to help us invest in these kinds of projects. And that's just a little sampling of some of what the design is going to be. That's like a bamboo climbing forest for kids. That construction, again, starting this month. Look forward to that expansion right up here. So this particular bond that will be on the April ballot, as I mentioned, has been more than a year in putting it together. We had an advisory committee of residents from throughout the community. 28 showed up with us for over a 4-month period. They came from our advisory councils that work with us, volunteers that work with us regularly, from other local governments, from nonprofits, representing across the community, different businesses, different user groups like pickleball people, skateboarders, dog lovers, dog enthusiasts. And they emphasized in helping us sort through the projects what they thought was most important. And what they said was no tax increase. We started with a much bigger number than 155 million and a much longer list of projects, but that was going to require a tax increase. And they said no, that we don't believe that we're in an environment to be able to sustain a tax increase. So let's keep it at no tax increase. Let's make sure that 155 million is invested across the community. Equitably, there are some neighborhoods that lag behind others. And so let's invest equitably to make sure that everyone's experiencing a more fair and similar experience of accessing our parks. And let's make sure that we really invest locally. The last bond invested a lot in big regional attractions. Let's really invest in your neighborhoods. Let's invest in connecting to those parks, right? You might have a park nearby, but getting there is a bit of a challenge, so how can we invest in those connections? And while we do want to maintain the system, right, we don't want to build things that we can't take care of, we do want to do some growth of the system. Land acquisition, particularly in those areas, like I said, that we don't quite have the same level of service and don't quite have the same access to parks as other areas. Let's make sure we create more park spaces to keep up with our population and fill in those gaps. So this is the map that is in your handout. And you can see across the community, the different locations, the icons give you an idea of the different types of projects. If you want any specific information on those projects, we do have There's QR codes on there, you can go to the park's website, you can find much more detail or explanations of what it means for an infrastructure improvement. But certainly I would expect that you're most curious about improvements in this neighborhood. So, I'm sorry if I'm standing in your way. One of the priorities in this area is to develop a new park space. So that we can, and one of our goals is to have park spaces within a 10-minute walk of everyone who lives in Tacoma, and that is a 10-minute walk based on an adult able-bodied person. But we have the opportunity to, one of the top opportunities is the site of former Galt Middle School, and to be able to transform that into a park space. So that's one of the projects. Swan Creek Park is proposed in this bond, improving that natural trail system. And maybe you've been able to participate in some of the workshops and community meetings we've had about building a new pedestrian bridge. So this bond would fund the construction per $1,000 of assessed value of the home that you live in. So if you are, Tacoma's average home value is $553,000, which that equates to $249 per year. My house is not $553,000, so I wouldn't be paying $249 per year, but my parents' house is more than $533,000, so they would be paying more in taxes. So, again, April 28th is the date of the election. Because this is a bond, not a levy, approval of this type of measure requires greater than majority. It requires 60% approval plus one. And it also requires that at least 40% of the people that voted in the general election in November come out and vote. So in other words, we need 19,956 voters to cast the ballot. And then if 61% of those voters approve, the measure is passed. Ballots will be mailed the week of April 10th. I know you won't be hanging out here because the center will be closed, but they'll come to your home. And with that, we're here. There's more information there. And I know I talk speedy, but if you have questions, fully available right now or anytime up until April 28th. Yes?
Two questions. In this bill, are you going to get your 10-minute walk to?
We'll make.
Are there several other facilities that are going to be in that?
Yeah, let's go back to the map. So we will not achieve a 10-minute walk for everybody in Tacoma. We will make some progress on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my next question was, how much is set aside? 10%? The total sum, you said when slush funds fine. What do you set aside, 10%?
You know what, I would have, it's still programmed, so I wouldn't call it a slush fund. There is like $1 million assigned to ADA improvements. There is another I'm trying to think of some of the other district-wide things. So it still has to be spent. There's still certain sums that have to be spent on certain categories, and we refer to those as district-wide programs. I could do a quick calculation and figure that out for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a presentation on the website?
No, I guess the presentation is not. Most of the information is available, but not in this format.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is the list of parks, the only ones that you're gonna work on?
No, well, yes and no. We are committed to this list. We will deliver on that list should the bond be approved. Now, those district-wide programs, that gives us the flexibility that we might be able to, that we would be able to do some other things in other places that may not be currently listed here.
I know the last meeting, a lot of people voted for the Cloverdale Park, that year was supposed to be a big upgrade.
And correct, this bond, strives to pick up the locations that were not included in the 2014 bond. So Cloverdale was included in the 2014. There is work going on there now. We just haven't gotten to the construction phase yet. Yeah. I thought I saw. All right. Yeah, there are QR codes on there that you can dig into more detail, go to the parks website, you can get all the information that, I presented here, available, and probably more. But yeah, this particular format is not, but you need to do it. All right, I appreciate your attention. This is information we want to make sure that people are aware of so that they can make a choice on April 28th. Thank you.
Look at that. And as promised, it was 7:18. I gave you 2 minutes. So shake somebody's hand, give them a hug on the way out. If actually, okay, no, okay, yes, okay. Well, if anyone has any of those sports questions, Noah's in the back. And then otherwise, I want to thank everyone for attending this co-create, and we look forward to seeing you at the next. Actually, I did have one announcement. I know that, is there a senior program event that's happening? And then need one more?
It's a senior cooking class.
Senior cooking class?
Sunday here. From
Sunday here?
2:30. And they need one more person, or they're gonna have
And if you're gonna run it, you need one more person, so if you want to take a cooking class here on
We
Sunday.
just need one more
Chuck
person.
Wilson, who made this awesome deal you all made.
Just one more person. We just need one more person. One. If anybody knows someone that wants to join it, right here. Okay, we got yes. So, and Rachel, they can sign up online. Or at the front desk. Yes, so please. With that, and that decision, that has to happen when? Today? By end of day tomorrow. So you cannot leave. You can be dismissed now. You guys take care of that. Thank you everyone for joining Co-Create. We'll see you all soon.
What'd you sign up for? A cooking class on Sunday. You know, AWA's doing a cooking class. Not ARF.
Well,
For Sunday.
this Sunday here, cooking class, you.
Anyway, in that sport, Dr. Jackson.
If everyone can help us grab a chair, that's why we dismissed you early so you can help us